What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kicking It with Crowder. This is episode 89, guys, so I'm going to let a couple people join in on the conversation, and then we will get started, guys. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We're talking Suns, Bucks, Game 2. Can the Bucks even the series tonight? Also, Italy and England play this weekend in the European Championship in soccer, so not a lot of soccer fans out there, but, guys, this is a game that you may want to tune into. Should be a high profile, really good game between these two squads, and really excited for that. You got the Wimbledon tournament going on right now. Also, Conor McGregor, Poirier, the trilogy, round 3. That is going to be Saturday. So, I mean, just jam-packed sports going on right now. And we'll also talk the MLB All-Stars tonight as well, who's going to start and then who kind of is sitting out right now. So, we'll let, one or two people get joined in, and then we'll get going on the conversation. Guys, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight on Kicking It with Crowder. And not going to play any music because we've had some copyright stuff going on, so not going to really play any music anymore. Just going to get started here in just a second, all right? So thank y'all so much. All right. What's up, Brandon? Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. And guys, don't forget, if you do join in, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like, share down below. Get it to where more people can see this post, more people interact, the more people can see it, guys. So thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. And we got another person on the live, so we'll get started here. What's up, Bob? Thanks for joining, man. My man from I-80 Sports, if you haven't already checked it out, guys, on Twitter and Facebook. Bob, what's going on, my man? All right, guys, so Kicking It with Crowder begins in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kicking It with Crowder. This is episode 89, guys, so thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. If you're either tuning in live or you tune in, on the download on Podbean, Apple, Spotify, however you're listening, guys, I really appreciate it. Guys, we have a jam-packed show tonight as we break down Game 2 of the NBA Finals, and the Milwaukee Bucks try to do their job and go steal one down in Phoenix in Game 2. And I'll tell you a little bit why I think they have a good shot of winning the game tonight. They are plus 170 right now on the money line, and also they're plus 4.5. The Suns are still favored by 4.5. I'll give you my pick on that later on in the show. So Giannis, guys, I mean, unbelievable how he was able to come back a week after hyperextending that leg, which looked to me like that was going to be, just a deal breaker for the playoffs for Giannis. Did not know if a guy that large and who is, uses his explosiveness, jumping up and down, trying to get rebounds, getting to the basket, just the physical nature of the NBA. I did not know if he was going to be able to get back. He did not look like he was 100%, but, I mean, he played his heart out in Game 1, and I really think that Milwaukee, I feel like he'll be more comfortable going into Game 2, and you're going to have to see guys like Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton, the two Olympians from this Milwaukee Bucks team. They're going to have to step up. A guy like Brook Lopez, who's going to be able to rebound the basketball, score some points, hit some three-pointers, that 3-and-D guy. They used to, he used to dominate with the Brooklyn Nets and played for the Lakers later on in his career. They're gonna need a big time performance over with him. I have a player prop bet for Brook Lopez tonight that I think you guys should listen into. So that'll be later on in the show where I give you all my bets for tonight, guys. And then the Suns, of course, you know what they're gonna try to do. They're gonna try to beat you with their big three: Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. If you can take those guys out of the ball game, force their second unit or their second tier guys, a Mikal Bridges, a Cameron Payne, a Cam Johnson. If you can make those guys try to beat you and take away CP3, Devin Booker, and Ayton, if you can just stop two of those three players, you have a great chance to win the ball game. Booker, of course, has the broken nose. He's going to be shooting. What's up, Rita? He's going to be shooting a lot, from outside the perimeter, not really getting to the hole as much. DeAndre Ayton was an absolute beast in Game 1, 19 rebounds. To go along with, I think he had like 20 points as well. So big night out of DeAndre Ayton, and he is just he's blossoming into a superstar in the NBA. Such an athletic big man, and can run the floor and do things on the offensive and defensive end of the floor. I really like DeAndre Ayton. So it's going to be a really good game, and I'll give you my pick later on in the show, guys. So I talked a little bit about soccer. We don't talk a lot about soccer on Kicking It with Crowder, although I was a college I did play college soccer and also in high school as well. But it's just, I like watching it, but it's hard to talk about it because, I did enjoy playing soccer, and now I don't get to play anymore. So also football, I just like football a lot more than soccer, although I was better off as a soccer player. But the European Championships, guys, we have Italy versus England, and an Italy team who missed, the World Cup a few years ago. They are back, and they have played really well in this tournament. And then you have England team who went toe-to-toe with Denmark, ended up winning. Harry Kane scored off a penalty kick, did not make the penalty, but got the rebound, and he sends England to the championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show, but should be a really, really good game. If you don't tune into soccer, guys, this would be a good game to watch, and, just for a few minutes, just to see tactically, what teams, how they're lined up and things like that. When I coached, I ran kind of a 4-5-1. So I had one forward up at the top. Then you have three midfielders. I had a right wing, a left wing, a center midfield, and then we had a kind of a defensive stopper and an offensive midfielder. They kind of swapped. I attacked a lot out of my left back. And then my defensive midfielders would drop back when they would attack. You have your one of your best players there at center back, and then you have your right back as well. That's the formation I ran. I love watching teams what they're able to do with pressing and substitutions. The tactical game of soccer, because these guys are so good at they're in such great shape. These guys are hell of good athletes. I don't care what anyone says. Soccer, you have to be very athletic to play the game of soccer. And then these keepers are just unreal. And guys like Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi and all these guys are able to create, such offensive havoc on the soccer field. It's so tough as a keeper going against these guys. So what's up, Wes? Thanks for joining me tonight. So, guys, Italy, England, Sunday, 3 o'clock should be a really, really good matchup. If you're not into soccer, guys, just take a few minutes just to watch it. I guarantee you, you'll be, you'll watch it and you'll be satisfied for a few minutes at least. Okay, guys. So they had tough semifinal matchups. Italy beat Spain, and then I think in penalty kicks or went to extra time, and then England beat Denmark, like I said, 2-1 in the extra time as well. So they've had tough roads to get here, but now they're in the championship, and we're going to see who the king of Europe is this Sunday. All right, guys. So that's Sunday at 3 o'clock. Also, guys, we'll go over the NL and AL MLB All-Star game that, of course, was moved out of Atlanta. Ouch. Moved out of Atlanta basically because of the voting, the voting change, and that a lot of other states are wanting to do as well. They kind of folded into, pressure, the cancel culture. They moved the game from Atlanta, and now it's gonna be in Coors Field in Colorado. So we're gonna go over the NL and AL MLB All-Star starters and which players have opted out. There's already been a few players, guys, who are gonna sit out, either want to rest or kind of trying to get healthy over injury. So we'll talk about that later on for the Midsummer Classic as well, guys. And you have three Braves representative in the NL All-Star team as well. So this Saturday, I've already, like I said, UFC 264 in Las Vegas with fans. Going to be a rowdy atmosphere. And, McGregor, Poirier, the trilogy, fight number 3. Who is going to say, hey, I'm the better fighter when I stepped in that ring against you 3 times? They're 1-1 right now. McGregor, of course, won the first round, the first matchup. Poirier with the knockout, I think the second or third round knockout to shock McGregor. He was a big underdog in that one. So I'll talk about that betting, the betting lines later on in the show and kind of who I'm rocking with on that one. Should be a really, really good card, guys. So excited to bring you all that tonight. Let me know what else you guys want to talk about. Of course, if you want to talk about something tonight, guys, let me know down below so we can give it a talk about it a little bit. And guys, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like down below. If you haven't already liked my Facebook page, we're at 990 followers on the page, guys. We're really, really close to 1,000. So please help me get there. This group and my podcast, Kicking It with Crowder, you mean so much to me, and I really appreciate all the support and people just tuning in and kind of letting loose a little bit and talking about sports. So I really, really appreciate y'all so much, more than you could really ever know. So comment, like, share down below, guys. You can also find my podcast on Apple. I'm on Spotify. I'm on the iHeartRadio app. I'm a pretty good follow on Twitter, at Kick It With Crow. And then also I have a YouTube channel, but most of my content, guys, is going to be on Facebook or Apple, Spotify, anything like that. Over 3,000 downloads on the podcast, so thank you all so much for that. And I'm not sure how many views we've had, combined with YouTube and Facebook, guys, but it's got to be close to 100,000, 200,000 views, guys. So thank y'all so much, and thanks for tuning in tonight. Let's go ahead and knock these topic points out, and we'll get out of here tonight, get you ready for Game 2 NBA Finals tonight, guys. All right, so Suns, Bucks, Game 2. We talked about it earlier in the show. Can the Bucks kind of, get revenge on the Suns and even this thing up and kind of do their job and split, or will Phoenix go up 2-0 in the NBA Finals? And we know if Phoenix does go up 2-0, if you have the series lead 2-0, it's very, very good for that team. So historically speaking, so we'll see. We'll see how they do it. Coach Budenhauser, the former Atlanta Hawks coach, is really going to have to make some adjustments that I thought he would try to make in the second half of that Phoenix game, and that it just did not work. This pick and roll with Chris Paul, not only offensively, but defensively, stopping the pick and roll that the Bucks are doing. DeAndre Ayton is a different kind of animal than even Clint Capella was. We know how good Clint Capella is. Defensively, offensively, DeAndre Ayton is better, and then defensively, he may be a little bit better than Clint Capella as well, and Clint Capella is a hell of a player, but DeAndre Ayton is a problem on that pick and roll. The lobs that Chris Paul throws up to him. I mean, the Bucks and Giannis isn't really fully healthy right now, and Ayton is just going to pick apart Lopez on the offensive side. So they're going to have to, figure out what to do. Do they run some zones? Do they, Bobby Portis, what do they do with him? He had a big game in Game 1. Can he keep that up? That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have big games from these role players, PJ Tucker, and then also, you need your Olympians to step up. Drew Holiday's got to play better in Game 2. Chris Middleton missed a lot of open shots in Game 1 as well. And then Giannis is going to go out there. He's going to give it his all. But, he's probably 75, 80% right now. And I know just being out there for his team, it helps a lot with this team. So I'm really ready to see what Budenhauser and the Bucks can do. What's up, Julian? We're talking NBA right now, man. So what do you think happens tonight? Do you think the Bucks can make some adjustments that they didn't make in the second half of Game 1? And my thing is, the pick and roll on offensive and defensive side, Phoenix Suns are deadly with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton running that pick and roll. And then Devin Booker, if he can get hot from the perimeter, and then you have these role players, like I said, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson. I mean, they have some good role players. Frank Kaminsky's going to have to play some now with Dominique Sarge tearing his ACL. So they're a little thin right there at the center position. But we'll see what happens. Phoenix wants to get those big three involved. And, if they have, great games, they score 60 to 70 points with those three players, Milwaukee's going to be in for a hell of a night. So, what can Monty Williams, what can Coach Budenhauser do to make adjustments and try to really get this game? Milwaukee is 4.5-point underdogs right now as we speak. And they're like plus 170 on the money line, which is a pretty good odds for you. You put $100 down, you win 170. So we'll see what happens. Where most of that money is going, I would imagine that a lot of people are laying the points with Phoenix and taking this Phoenix Suns team. But if I had to put money on this game, I'm going to take the Bucks plus 4.5 tonight. Also, it's intriguing for the money line. You put $10 down, you win 17. So that's not a bad bet as well. So we'll see what happens in this matchup. But if you're Milwaukee, you don't want to go down. You don't want to go head back to Milwaukee down 0-2. You want to try to even this thing out tonight and go 1-1 in the series. So we'll see what happens with these two great coaches, matched up tonight. Should be a great game. I have a feeling Bucks get it done tonight. That's just what I'm going with in my gut. Fear the deer tonight. I think Giannis kind of, he only took 9 or 10 shots last game. I think he's a little bit more aggressive tonight. I think he has 25 points or more. And the Bucks get it done in a pretty close game. I'm going like 108, 104, something like that. Should be a really, really close game. And I'm excited for it. And then we'll talk about the Euro Championship real quick before we go into MLB All-Star Game and stuff like that. So European 2020, it's in 2021, but of course they call it 2020. Italy, rebounding from missing the World Cup a few years ago. This England team is taking that momentum that they had from the World Cup when they lost in the semifinals, and they're trying to win their first tournament, I think, in a very, very long. It's been a long time. England has not had good results in these major tournaments. So Harry Kane, Sterling, they have a lot of talent on this England team, but Italy does as well. So I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup. I would say this thing goes, if you want to make a bet, I think that the game is not going to be decided in the 90 minutes. I think it's going to take either the first or second overtime, what you would call it, extra time, 2 15-minute halves, and it's not golden goal. So if one team scores, the other one has an opportunity to score as well. So I really think I'm riding with England on this game. I think that it's going to be a very, very close game, but I think Harry Kane and Sterling are just the difference for me with this England team. Italy, they played well, but I'm rolling with England in this game. I know England's played a lot of the home games. I'm not sure where the game will be played at, if it will actually be in Italy or if it'll be at Wembley Stadium. So I'll check that out and put it down in the comments below, guys. So that's something else we talked about with the European Championships, guys. And then I want to talk a little bit about the MLB All-Stars in each league. We're going to go over the NL All-Star roster first. And at catcher from Lee County High School here in Leesburg, Georgia, the former Florida State Seminole. Give me 1 second, guys. The former Florida State Seminole Buster Posey is starting at catcher for the surprising San Francisco Giants. They're in first place in the NL West, a very tough division with the San Diego Padres and the LA Dodgers. So shout out to Buster Posey. Starting at first base for the Atlanta Braves, the former MVP of 2020, Freddie Freeman, is going to start at first base for the Atlanta Braves. So shout out and give it a 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! For Freddie Freeman, guys. So very excited for Freddie Freeman. Had some more kids this off season. Everything's going great in his life. Has a beautiful wife. Also, coming off the MVP, he's an all-star again, and I think he's going to get hot, and this Braves team will get hot in the second half. So shout out to Freddie Freeman. Coming in at second base, guys, and this is a surprising pick. I thought Ozzie Albies had a chance to kind of be the second baseman starter for the Atlanta Braves in the All-Star game, but it's going to be Adam Frazier making his first appearance for the Pittsburgh Pirates team. Will probably be the only player from the Pirates, but shout out to Adam Frazier making your first All-Star starting appearance in the All-Star game. A familiar face is going to be at third base, but just in a new uniform. The former Colorado Rockies third baseman Nolan Arenado goes over to St. Louis and doesn't really miss a beat. He's playing really good, and once it gets a little bit hotter, Nolan Arenado is probably going to heat up as well. So watch out for him in the second half. And then at shortstop in the NL, everyone knew who was going to get this starting nod, and that is the electric Fernando Tatis Jr. So not only does this lineup have, Nolan Arenado and Freddie Freeman and Fernando Tatis, and the next guy I'm going to talk about as well, Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to play. He's going to either play center or right field. Not sure exactly how they'll line up. And also joining him in the outfield is Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker, both from the the Cincinnati Reds. So, big shout out. This lineup is going to be dirty, but the two guys at the top, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Ronald Acuna Jr. Just two dynamic guys, the faces of baseball in the next 10 to 15 years, and I'm really excited to see what they're able to do in this lineup together. And then the starters, guys, the pitchers, we all know who would have been the starter if he would have decided to come into the All-Star game, but he's going to take some time and take some time off, rest. Has some injury issues so far this year. DeGrom has a 1.09 ERA. He would have 100% been the pitcher who started the game, but he is out. He's not going to be playing in this game. So we'll see who they go with. They'll have a lot of options. Sorry, guys, this light is like blinding me. They'll have a lot of options, for a pitcher, but I'm excited to see who they end up choosing. And when they do end up choosing guys, I will let you guys know down in the comments below. And then in the AL, guys, so you have a 6-time All-Star, Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals. He makes another All-Star game. He'll be starting at catcher for the AL. And then you have Vlad Guerrero Jr., who may be, if not one of the top 2 or 3 MVP vote getters in the AL. I feel like Vlad Guerrero Jr., if it wasn't for, say, a Shohei Ohtani, I feel like he'd have a great shot of winning an MVP and joining his dad as an MVP. What's up, Trip? Thanks for watching, man. And then we'll go at second base. We'll go Mark Semien. Third base, in the first time in the Red Sox history, they get the third base and the shortstop as starters in the AL, and that's going to be Rafael Devers at third and Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. So congratulations to those two. And a great story, because, in such a storied franchise, you would have thought that they've had, Nomar Garciaparra and maybe a Mike Lowell or someone in the past start at those two positions, but they start for the first time in their career, Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts. And then in the outfield, guys, Mike Trout, who is not the best Angel this year on his own team. I think this is the first year where you can really say Mike Trout hasn't been the best player on his own team. And we all know who is the top player this year. Shohei Ohtani has, an ERA in the 3s. He's 3-1 as a pitcher. And, what he's been able to do is just amazing. The guy is such a great athlete. He just broke the Japanese home run record in the major leagues with 32 before the All-Star break. Breaks the guy who played for the New York Yankees for all those years. But Mike Trout is going to start in the All-Star game. I'm pretty sure he will play. I know he's dealt with some injuries this year. But if he doesn't play, I'm sure Shohei Ohtani, who is the DH in this game, he may slide over and start in the outfield. Shohei Ohtani becomes the first player, another stat, he becomes the first player in MLB history to be selected as a pitcher and a hitter. So just shout out to him. He's doing great things. 32 home runs, the league leader right now in Major League Baseball. And he's a great pitcher as well. Can pump it up there 99 to 100 miles per hour as well. And then in the outfield as well, you have Aaron Judge joining Mike Trout and Teoscar Hernandez from the Blue Jays, guys. So those are your rosters. Pitching-wise, like I said, they have some really good pitchers in the AL. They have Shohei Ohtani, who could start, or he could, be start DH and bring him in later. You have Garrett Cole, and you also have, who's the guy I'm trying to think about? Oh, the guy from Cleveland, not Kluber, but dang it, what's his name? I'm going blank right now, but he's Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber. He may get the start for the AL. Then you have some really good pitchers in the NL as well. The NL manager will select the DH and the pitcher as well. And we have a couple players who will miss the All-Star game, which is kind of surprising, kind of opted out right now. And that's Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve, two Houston Astros who will sit out and not play in the game. Altuve because of a lingering leg issue, and Carlos Correa's wife is pregnant, so he will sit out, spend some time with her. And then DeGrom in the NL, who, like I've already said, would have been the pitcher in the NL All-Star game. The guy is unreal this year. He has at one point he had hit more home runs than he had given up runs at some point. But I don't know if that's still true. But, I mean, unbelievable what he's been able to do this year for the Mets. The former Stetson University pitcher who was a shortstop in college and then kind of transitioned his junior year to pitcher. And, man, what a great business decision that was for DeGrom. Man, there's a lot of good players that come out of, he's from the state of Florida. There's some really good players that come out of those colleges down there in Florida. And then, like I said, guys, UFC 264 this week. You have Poirier, who is the betting favorite at -125. And then you have Conor McGregor. What's up, Richard? How you doing, man? And then you have Conor McGregor, who is the underdog, versus Poirier in this trilogy at UFC 264. And it's going to be in Las Vegas. And like I said, it's going to be in Las Vegas with fans there. It's going to be a rowdy environment. A lot of this money, though, guys, will go to McGregor on betting day, like on the day of the fight. So right now, you have McGregor as the underdog, but I imagine leading up to the fight, he will be kind of an even money fighter. And Poirier will go down a little bit, -115, something like that. It'll be pretty close coming in to the game. So I'm really excited to see McGregor. McGregor came out and said, in an interview with Stephen A. Smith, that he kind of overlooked Poirier in his match, kind of looked past him. He said he's had a great camp. He's actually, a lot more focused in this fight. And one thing that that the UFC, fighters do not want to see is a Conor McGregor who is focused and locked in and loaded and ready to go. I'm telling you, I feel like McGregor knocks Poirier out. I'm going third, fourth round, something like that. I'm going to put my money on McGregor and just see what happens, but it really should be a great matchup. And I have a couple more things to say before we get out of here, guys. A couple bullet points. The Olympics will not have fans, man. A year after the coronavirus was canceled in 2020, they will have the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, but there will be no fans. That's sad. I was hoping there would be fans, but at least they're having the Olympics. The Wimbledon is going on right now. Federer lost a couple days ago, and then also Serena Williams lost in the first round exit, had an injury, and she's out. And then Richardson, the sprinter from LSU, this story really pissed me off. Basically failed a drug test for marijuana for THC, Sha'Carri Richardson, and she's left off the Olympic roster, and I just think that's absolute horse shit that they even test for that for marijuana. She obviously did not have like an advantage because of that or anything like that. I mean, it's 2021, dude. Like, it just needs to be federally legalized as a whole. Many states now it's legal to smoke marijuana, and I'm not saying that I'm not going out here right now and saying, hey, everyone needs to do that. But at the end of the day, it has a lot of good things. A lot of good people can use it for good purposes. It doesn't just have to be, abused and things like that. It really calms people down, helps with people's anxiety and things like that. And in her case, she said she smoked it dealing with some family issues. She lost her mom. And at the end of the day, she knew she shouldn't do it, so she shouldn't have done it. But at the end of the day, it's bullshit that it was even on there. She got tested for that. In general, it wasn't a performance-enhancing product, and she wasn't trying to cheat the system or anything like that. I mean, she hit a joint or something like that. Come on, man. It's 2021. Get with the program. They should have let her race. I hate it for her, but hopefully she'll be able to make the 2024 Olympics, and we'll kind of go on from there, guys. So that's my little bulletin points I had on. What's up, Drew? Thanks for watching, man. Thanks, Richard, for joining in at the end of the show, guys. I really appreciate y'all. Wanted to talk about some final bets tonight in the NBA. So the Suns -4.5 tonight over the Bucks. So basically, they have to win by 5 points for the Suns to win the bet. I already said earlier in the show, guys, I am rolling with the Milwaukee Bucks +4.5. So I do believe not only the Bucks have a good chance to cover the points tonight, I really do believe the Bucks get it done tonight and take this victory over the Phoenix Suns, and at +170. So you put $100 on it, you'll win 170. Okay, guys? So got some player props as well to go along in the NBA tonight. We're talking Brook Lopez over 12.5 points. I'm taking the over. No, you only live once, guys. Don't take the under on anything. Always take the over. Brook Lopez over 12.5 points. Ayton over 30.5 points, assists, and rebounds. The guy was an animal, not only scoring the basketball, but also rebounding the basketball. I had 19 rebounds. I just need, 15, 10, and 10, or 15, 5, and, 15, 10, and 5. That'll get me there too. So, anything right around there, DeAndre Ayton. Also, guys, I'm going over on CP3, over 34.5. Had 32 points in game one. Had a bunch of assists as well. So CP3 over 34.5 points, assists, and rebounds. No, I don't think he's going to have a bunch of rebounds, but I do think he's going to have a bunch of points and assists. And then Booker, guys, over 2.5, 3 points made. You got some plus money there, +110. So if you put $100, you win 110. So Booker got the broke nose. I think he's going to stay out of the paint. He is kind of a mid-range jump shooter, but just take a few steps back, hit some of those threes. All he needs is 3 threes for you to win the bet. So I'm going Brook Lopez, Ayton, CP3, and Booker all over. Booker, the 3-point shots made, CP3 and Ayton, points, assists, and rebounds, and Brook Lopez over 12.5 points, guys. And also, like I said, McGregor +105 right now in Vegas. Take that. I think he knocks out Poirier in the trilogy, and it should be a really great matchup this weekend. What a great couple days of sports, guys. We got the NBA Finals tonight and this weekend. We got UFC Saturday. We got the European Championship Sunday. You got Wimbledon going on. Just a great time. And then also, guys, we'll start ramping up football. Training camps are about to start. We'll talk Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about, of course, the Bucks and Mahomes, and some teams to watch out for, like the Los Angeles Rams and the Cleveland Browns. Those are 2 teams I'm very high on. We'll see what Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot can do with this Atlanta Falcons team. So really, really great stuff to talk about. Of course, we'll be talking football, Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, all that good stuff, Clemson, Florida State, guys. So thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, and also check out my Facebook page, Kicking It with Crowder, guys. Check out all my content there, as well as my website, www.kickingitwithcrowder.com. Until next time, guys, I'm out. Let's go.